Have you noticed that when you're angry, your breathing is fast? When you're sad or in pain, it's erratic. And when you're in shock, it might stop for a few seconds. Sadly, some of us do shallow breathing and we don't even know about it. Yes, breathing is an automatic process, but ever wondered why we're not taught the correct way to breathe, be it at home or at school, and we were burdened with stuff that probably didn't matter much in the long run. And for that reason, in this video, we'll look at what pranayams or breathing exercises are. We'll delve deeper into 3 of those powerful yogic breathing exercises and their benefits for life. At the end of this video, I'll share with you a breathing technique which is used by US Navy SEALs called box breathing to reduce stress. So stick around and let's first understand what pranayam is. Hi everyone, my name is Aiena. I'm a flight attendant and a cabin crew trainer. Apart from travel, other topics that excite me are leadership, health and wellness. Welcome to this channel. Although this ancient yogic breathing technique called pranayam originated in India, breathing is one of the things that's common among all of us as human beings. The first thing that we do when we are born is breathe, and the last thing that we'll do before we die is also to breathe. So breath is life. Pranayam is the practice of breath regulation. You might remember from your biology textbooks in school that breathing is an involuntary process. But you might also have experienced and noticed the connection between your breathing and your mind. When your mind is steady and calm, so is your breathing, and the opposite is true as well. That's the power of breathing. You can channel your breathing. Sadly, the Western world mostly focuses on the stretch exercises of yoga and thinks that's all what yoga is all about. Now, the other 2 parts of yoga that are far more impactful than just physical yoga postures are breath work and meditation. So, how can we harness the power of breathing? Now, I can go on and on about the benefits of breath work, but let me share a few of them briefly with you. If you learn to connect with your breath and understand it, you can center yourself quite quickly. When you bring your attention to your breath, you automatically bring yourself to the present moment, and the focus goes on to what's really important in that instant. Secondly, and this might be logical and it's scientific, is that as you extend your inhalation and exhalation time frames, there will be more oxygen in your blood and hence your internal organs will function far better. The other great outcome of focusing on your breath is that deep, slow breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which leads to relaxation and it reduces stress levels. There's actually some research coming in that shows that these breathing practices might boost our immune system too, as it ends up stimulating our lymphatic system. There are a lot of other benefits, but lastly, pranayams reduce the aging process. You might have heard of some yogis living for really long periods of time. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of breathing exercises and they have particular benefits associated with them, such as one of them helps you in reducing belly fat. I'm not going to delve deeper into all of them, but if you're interested in learning other types of breathing exercises, let me know please, and we'll make more videos about them. So let's hop onto a mat to learn and practice 3 of my favorite pranayams. Before I share the 3 pranayams that I practice daily, here are a few general reminders for you. Now, they can be carried out during any time of the day, but please do not do them on a full stomach. Leave a gap of at least 3 to 4 hours between your meal and doing breath work. Look for a quiet place so that you won't be disturbed or annoyed. Now, you can do them with eyes open or closed, but I would suggest that you do them with eyes closed, as it will help you connect with your body. You can do them seated on a mat like I am right now. Even a chair or a bed will do. I personally like to do it outdoors, but when I cannot, I don't mind doing it in my living room. It's quite green anyways, right? You can sit in a cross-legged position called Sukhasana or in a folded leg position called Vajrasana. I personally like Sukhasana and I like to actually sit like that anywhere. Now let's talk about your hands. Now you can have them in any mudra or even no hand gesture for that matter. You can place them on your thighs or anywhere where they are in a relaxed position. Now that's the beauty of yoga. It teaches you great ways of living, but it doesn't force anything on you. I like to just leave them right here in the center so that I can focus on my breath. Now once you settle in, close your eyes and practice a few rounds of slow inhalations and exhalations. This helps us to get out of the busyness of our lives, slow our mind down, and focus our attention on our breath. Let's start with the first pranayam, which is anulom vilom. According to yogic scriptures, there are a lot of names for anulom vilom, such as nadi shodhan and a lot of others. They just have slight variations. Now for us, in simple language, it's called alternate nostril breathing. We'll start by taking one of our hands and bring our index and middle finger down. Now, if you find this difficult, you can also bring the ring finger down. I'm going to just hold my index finger and middle finger, and I'm going to use my thumb and my ring finger to block my nostrils. I'll block my right nostril with my thumb and inhale through my left nostril. I'll then hold my breath for a few seconds. After that, I'll block my left nostril with my ring finger and simultaneously release my thumb from my right nostril and exhale. We'll now alternate. We'll breathe in through our right nostril, blocking our left nostril with our ring finger at the same time. Hold your breath for a few seconds and then breathe out by letting go of your ring finger and blocking your right nostril with your thumb. This is one round of anulom vilom. You will hold your breath for a few seconds before you start with the second round. Now in the initial stages, please complete at least 5 cycles of this pranayam. In the long run, you can do 3 to 4 sets of anulom vilom or as many times as you'd like to. A few reminders about anulom vilom, please. Gently place your thumb and ring finger on your nostrils so that it's sealed well. But don't put too much pressure on the nasal septum, as it can move out of its location. Some people might suggest that you count your inhalations and exhalations. Now a general rule of thumb is that your exhalations should be longer than your inhalations. If they're not too long in the initial stages, don't worry too much about counting them. Slowly and steadily work on increasing them. Let's move on to the second pranayam. The second breathing exercise that we'll learn and practice is brahmi. The word brahmi means bee, and this pranayam is famously called the humming bee breathing exercise. We'll start by blocking our ears with our thumbs and placing the rest of our fingers like this. Index fingers on your eyes, middle finger on the side of your nose, ring finger above your upper lip, and little finger below your lower lip. Again, if you find this difficult or distracting, just cover your eyes with the rest of the 4 fingers. I like to have my index finger on my forehead and cover my eyes with the rest of the fingers. We'll take a deep breath in, and when we exhale, we'll make the sound of a bee like this. Now you can make this exhalation as long as possible. What you need to pay attention to is that you feel the vibrations in the skull area. Again, we'll do 5 rounds of brahmi during our initial practice and increase the sets in the due course of time. Last but not the least, we'll practice my favorite breathing exercise, ujjayi pranayam. The word ujjayi in Sanskrit means victorious, and hence this breath work is also called the victorious breath. Now you might be wondering why this is my favorite breathing exercise. I'd like to share some self-analyzed data with you. Now if my heart rate is up and I practice ujjayi a few times, my heart rate comes down quite quickly. I captured this data on my smartwatch. You can see the before and after heart rates. See if this works for you too, especially when you are in difficult situations. Okay, enough of me talking. Let's see how this is done. First of all, it's important for you to understand how we'll constrict our throat. Now imagine that you have a mirror in your hand like this. By the way, the word aiena also means a mirror. Well, okay, sorry, I digressed. So you have a mirror right in front of you and you are fogging it up by doing. Now we have our mouth slightly open and we are exhaling and making the sound of. Now when you make that sound, I want you to pay attention to your throat. Can you feel a partial closure at the back of your throat? What it's doing is it's narrowing your windpipe. Now remember, as kids we were curious and we wondered why the mirror had all those water droplets. It was a fun game, right? With that explanation out of the way, let's practice. For this pranayam, we'll keep our mouth closed and breathe in and out through our nostrils. We'll be constricting the back of our throat at the same time. Close your eyes and take a deep and slow breath in, squeezing the back of your throat at the same time. Go as slow as you can. You'll be able to hear the sound that we were talking about earlier. It doesn't need to be too loud. Hold your breath for a few seconds and exhale the same way, constricting the windpipe at the same time. Please practice it at least 5 times. In the long run, do 3 to 4 sets and it will reap you great benefits like it has for me. After you're done practicing all 3 pranayams, remain seated with your eyes closed and take a moment to notice the effects of this practice. How do you feel? What sensations do you notice in your body? What is your state of mind now compared to when you sat down to practice? Just quietly observe yourself for a few moments. Then gently open your eyes, continuing to focus your awareness inward. When you're ready, slowly get up and move on to the next task you have at hand. Now I understand that some of you might struggle initially to get them right, but I promise that with practice, you'll get better at it. If you have any health conditions, please consult your doctor before you start doing them. You can get in touch with a yoga instructor too if you think you need some extra help. Lastly, as promised, I'll share one of the breathing exercises that the US Navy SEALs practice to reduce stress levels. It's called box breathing. Its real name is Samvritti Pranayam. Sam in Sanskrit means equal, and vritti can have a lot of meanings depending on the context. In general, it means thoughts that surface up. Now for our practice, it means equal counts of inhalations, exhalations, and holding of our breath. So let's understand how we will do it. We'll close our eyes, breathe in slowly and count 4, 3, 2, 1. Then hold our breath for 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Exhale slowly and count 3, 2, 1. And hold your breath again for 4, 3, 2, 1. This makes it one cycle of box breathing. Now if you find inhaling, exhaling and holding your breath for 4 seconds difficult, you can make it 3 or even less than that. Again, the goal is to slowly and steadily increase the count and not be pressured by anything. You can do it for a few minutes or for as long as you'd like to. I hope that you enjoyed these breathing exercises and that you'll practice them daily. If you do them regularly, you'll reap their endless benefits in the long run. Ujjayi is my favorite pranayam. Which one is yours and why? I'd love to hear your thoughts. On that note, till we meet again, Aiena signing off, and may you connect with your breath, the source of life.